If you wake up each morning and let your attention scatter like leaves in a storm, you will live a life of fragments, half-started dreams, shallow victories, and endless regret. The world bombards you with noise, notifications, opinions, endless scrolls, urgent distractions dressed as important. Most men surrender to it without a fight. They drift through days, reactive, diluted, wondering why their potential feels locked away in someone else's story. But the elite, the men who command respect, build empires in silence, and bend reality to their will, do not suffer from scattered minds. They have forged unbreakable focus, not through luck or talent, but through deliberate, ruthless training of the attention. Focus is not a gift, it is a weapon, and like any weapon, it dulls without sharpening, rusts without use, and fails when you need it most if you have not maintained it. Listen closely. The average man treats focus like a mood. He waits for inspiration to strike, for the stars to align, for motivation to carry him. When it doesn't, he blames the day, the circumstances, his energy. The wise man knows better. He treats focus as a muscle, forged in the forge of daily discipline. He understands there is a law as ironclad as gravity, the law of selective attention. What you allow into your mind expands, what you starve withers. The man who permits every ping, every half-thought, every trivial urge to claim his awareness will never rise. But the man who guards his attention like a king guards his throne multiplies his power tenfold. You were not built to multitask your way to mediocrity. Your brain is wired for depth, not diffusion. Every time you switch tasks, you pay a toll. Mental fragments left behind, momentum shattered, clarity eroded. The elite refuse to pay that tax. They choose one battlefield at a time and fight with total ferocity. They know that scattered effort produces scattered results. Concentrated effort produces mastery. There was a time when you chased every shiny object, new apps, new hacks, new dopamine hits. You told yourself you were exploring options, but you were fleeing discomfort. Real focus feels uncomfortable at first because it demands you sit with one thing long enough for boredom to arrive, for resistance to roar, for the mind to beg for escape. That is the crucible. Most men flee it. The elite lean in. Consider the craftsman who hones a blade for hours in dim light. No fanfare, no audience, just the slow, deliberate stroke against stone. Each pass removes imperfection until the edge sings. That is focus. Or the warrior in the quiet hours before dawn, drilling the same movement until muscle and mind fuse into instinct. No shortcuts, no distractions, only repetition until excellence is inevitable. You complain that focus eludes you, yet you allow your environment to wage war against it. Notifications are arrows aimed at your mind. Social media is a siren song, luring you to rocks. Open tabs are chains, binding your attention. The elite treat these as enemies and eliminate them without mercy. They create fortresses, phone in another room during deep work, single-task rituals, sacred hours where the world is forbidden entry. They say no to invitations that dilute their power. They protect their attention the way a lion protects its territory, with teeth bared. This is not about being busy. Busyness is the enemy of focus. The man who fills every hour with motion often accomplishes nothing of depth. The elite prioritize ruthlessly. They ask, what is the one thing that, if done at elite level, would render everything else easier or unnecessary? Then they pour their life force into that thing. They embrace the discomfort of depth over the comfort of breadth. Burn the old programming now. The lie that you can catch up later. The illusion that multitasking makes you efficient. The myth that motivation precedes action. Replace it with a new code. Focus is freedom. The man who masters his attention owns his time, owns his outcomes, owns his destiny. He does not react to the world, he shapes it. Start here, today, with brutal honesty. Audit your day. Where does your attention leak? Track every distraction for 1 week. No judgment, just truth. You will see the thieves. Mindless scrolling, checking email every 10 minutes, letting thoughts wander during important work. Seeing the leaks is the first victory. Once seen, they can be sealed. Build your rituals like fortifications. Rise before the world stirs. Begin with a single, non-negotiable deep work block. 90 minutes, no interruptions, one mission. Train your mind like you train your body. Progressive overload. Start with 20 minutes of pure focus if that's your edge now. Add 5 minutes each week. Soon you will sit for hours in flow, undisturbed, unstoppable. Guard your inputs. Feed your mind elite material, books that demand concentration, conversations that sharpen, silence that allows ideas to crystallize. Starve it of junk, endless reels, outrage porn, trivial debates. Your attention is currency. Spend it on assets, not liabilities. When distraction knocks, and it will, do not negotiate. Acknowledge it, then return. The return is the training. Every time you notice your mind wander and gently bring it back, you strengthen the muscle. This is not failure, this is forging. The man who builds elite focus does not chase productivity hacks. He builds identity. He becomes the man who focuses. He speaks to himself differently. I am the man who finishes what matters. I am the man who controls his attention. I am the man who turns hours into legacy. Language rewires belief. Belief rewires action. Beware the traps. Comparison will whisper that others achieve more with less effort. They post highlights you see under your trenches. Ignore them. Their lane is not yours. The only competition is yesterday's version of you. Comfort will tempt you to soften, to check one more notification, to just 5 minutes of something else. Recognize it as poison. The elite embrace friction because friction is the signal that growth is happening. And when doubt creeps in, when the work feels endless, when progress hides, remember this: focus compounds. The man who shows up focused today builds momentum for tomorrow. Small, consistent wins stack into unbreakable presence. One focused hour today becomes a focused week, a focused month, a focused life. You have already survived distractions that would have broken lesser men. You have pulled yourself back from the edge of procrastination more times than you count. That is proof. That is power. Honor it. Now stand in that power. Protect your attention like sacred ground. Pour yourself into what matters. Let the world blur around you while you carve clarity from chaos. You are not scattered. You are sharpening. You are not distracted. You are directing. You are not average. You are becoming elite. The man who owns his focus owns everything. Go claim it. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Right now. Lock in. Lock out the noise. And build.